everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you a little flip through for my September and October theme because I forgot that I didn't show my September flip through. So without further ado, we're just going to get started into the bullet journal. So if you would like to see my actual plan with me for September, I do have it on my YouTube channel, and if you want to see everything, I'll just probably put it over here so you can see how I made this. And it's just a really fun arcade theme that I did for September. Definitely a lot more art than I usually do for now because school is kind of busy, but I just did some raffle tickets and also an arcade box, which was super fun. Flipping on over, I got a lot of support for this spread because of this glitch effect, which was super fun to make. And if you would like to see how to do it, definitely check out my YouTube channel or my YouTube video for the September plan with me to see how to make this fun glitch effect. I also used a couple of stickers here and some washi tape with a little quote that was kind of plain and simple, not very busy in any sense. So I believe this one was my first week of school, and wow, it was something. I had this fun little arcade theme and it was just really fun to do this color. I love the color combinations for this month, or for the month of September, because it was just super fun to make. And then also I drew a arcade game box as well within little quote, which was super fun. Moving on over, I went to a Pac-Man theme and I enjoyed the bright colors I had for this theme. It was so much fun to just incorporate a bright pink and a bright blue. I love those color combinations so much, and I was inspired by the Pac-Man logo to create this little font with a couple of ghosts and Pac-Man. I did have someone telling me to draw more ghosts, but unfortunately I was unable to see that comment until like the last week of September, so I wasn't able to add more ghosts in there, but I did like how it worked out. I also had, I believe, an events page over here because school was getting a little bit busy and there was a lot of things that were going on outside of class, so this was just a really nice place to put my events. I also, if you look closely, I have some white outlines over here using the white gel pen because it just makes everything stand out a little bit more. Obviously, if you check out my Instagram, you'll be able to see more detailed pictures of these spreads, but I'm just giving an overview of everything. Moving on to the next page, we have my September week 3, and I enjoyed this spread so much. I was inspired by those 80s and 90s fonts with those white gel pens, or like the white highlights and the gradients and everything, so I wanted to put everything in those with the font as well. And then I also printed out some arcade pictures to just put into the spread. I also had a to-do section just to add a little bit more, and overall I think it worked out pretty well. I added a couple of stickers for fun, and this might be one of my favorite spreads because of this little font here. So that was really cool. Moving on to the last one for September, I have my habit tracker as per usual, and also another photo because school is kind of busy and the printer will be your friend when school happens for your bullet journal, just to add that extra look to it, because pictures just spice up your bullet journal spread and it looks really nice. Obviously you can draw as well, but I just did not have the time to draw anything, so I went for a simple theme with just like barely any highlights and not a lot of things going on here, and having the washi tape and photos do most of the work for decoration. Moving on to October. So if you would like to see my October plan with me, it was a Big Hero 6 theme, and I'll put it over here so you can see everything that is going on. Or if you want to see me create it. I also have a list of inspirations that I see on my Instagram. It's a little story highlight, so you could definitely check that out as well. So I was inspired by the San Francisco I don't know what it's called. Is it the Golden Gate Bridge? I don't know, it might be different, but I was inspired by that to draw it here. And once again, I received so much support for this cover page, even though I did mess up with the lines between for the San Francisco theme, which was my fault, but nonetheless, I got a lot of support. I was also inspired by the font that Big Hero 6 has, and I drew it all in to write down October. For the empty space, I did draw a couple of birds as everything. I always fill up empty spaces with tiny drawings, but that aside, I really enjoyed this cover page. I loved the dark black outlines that it had, and it was really fun to create as well. Moving on, we have a little spread. So I have these post-it notes here because I actually forgot to put a playlist here, and it was obviously my fault, but I love having a playlist so I can listen to all the songs, but I did not have it, so I'll put it somewhere else. But I just have a post-it note for here just to have a couple of songs. And this month I listened to a bunch of songs because I love music and music is great. I continued on with the font for October from the Big Hero 6 logo, as well as drawing a very detailed and time-consuming San Francisco bridge. It was a lot of work. I had to outline every single line for the bridge, and it took a lot of time, but in the end I really liked how it turned out, so I'm not complaining. I have yet to fill out the books I've read, but I did read a couple for this month, not as much as I wanted to, but because school was just so busy, I did not have the time to read as many books as I wanted to, but I'm definitely going to fill this out because I know I want to keep track of the books I've read so far. And I also had an empty box here, and you might not see it in my plan with me, but I did put a washi tape over just to make it fill out a little bit more, and it's really nice. The washi tape reminds me of like a Japanese themed washi tape. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it's really cool, and there's gold foil, so who can complain about that? Moving on, we go on to my first week of October, and let me tell you, this was one of my favorite spreads to make. I made it around midnight of Monday. No, it was Monday morning, if you consider it 12 o'clock to be morning, but I made it really last minute, but it was just so much fun to make, and I love the colors that I use. This bright orange, I don't know when I'll ever use this bright orange ever again, but it was just really fun, and I loved how the yellow and pink worked really together, and it was just so much fun to create. I added an A peach post-it note and wrote October because I had so much empty space here. I just decided to write that out, and it worked out really well. I also started a new little tracker, so this one was inspired by TBH Studding, where she draws in the circle, and if it's not finished, she'll color it halfway, and if it is finished, she'll color it all in. So that's what I was trying to do with these bullet points, and I think they work out pretty well. So yeah, those were definitely my new changes for the October month. We have my second week, and I was inspired by Wasabi's toolbox organization system, if you can call it that, and it was just so much fun. If you would like to see the inspiration of this layout, definitely check out my Instagram. I believe I put it there in the highlights, and it was just so fun to create. I love the red and the green, although it did remind me of a little Christmas theme, but that was not what I was going for. The colors, I think, worked out okay. It wasn't the best, but it was just so much fun to create. I love this little toolbox. I mean, this event tracker, which was a lot of fun. I love the contrast between the white and black. I always like that contrast, and it was really fun to put it into the spread as well. So overall, I had a lot of fun with it. The only problem I had with this spread was it didn't give me enough room to have a to-do list, which I got really into for like the past week. because I love to-do lists, and it's just a nice section to just put things that aren't really considered daily, but rather just like something you need to do monthly. And it was just nice to keep track of that to-do list, but I wasn't able to put it in here, which was kind of sad. But overall, I really loved how this spread turned out. This spread, let me tell you about this spread. I know I've said it about every single spread, but this one is probably my favorite spread out of every single spread for this month. This is it. I know I said all the others were my favorite, but this one is like first place out of all my favorites. And the reason for it is because I love this little loop that I created with the typography. I really wanted to play around and improve my skills with the fonts that I've been using, because if you know me, I'm not very good at like fonts and typography. I'm not the best at those, but I just wanted to practice it. I've always had a problem with the different shadows, and this just made it a lot more fun to, I guess, create and just practice with it. So yeah, I spent a couple of minutes, or maybe not a couple, probably like 10 minutes trying to figure out the perfect look for it. But in the end, I really enjoyed how it turned out. This one was one of my favorites, as I said before. The only problem I had with this was I decorated too high. I was just over the moon with how it looked, that I drew stuff here, I was gonna draw stuff here, and I was drawing stuff here. It just looked too cramped and crowded, and I hated how it looked. So I had to use craft paper to cover all the mistakes I had up, and that's the only problem I have with this spread. Was I just didn't like the craft paper look to it, but I knew I had to cover it up because I messed up so much. So that's my only problem, but overall, I love the layout of it. It was a perfect spacing for every single one, and it was just great. I was able to track my habits. I love the colors of the green. It was just a beautiful spread for me to use, and it was very efficient in how I got things done. So as you can see, I got most of my tasks finished. So I was really happy with it, but the craft paper, man, the craft paper and my ability to just draw too much ruined the spread for me. So lesson learned, simplistic is the way to go for myself, and if it's done, it's done. Don't add any more sketches. So yes, that's basically my lesson learned from this spread. To the next one, we have this one, and this one was inspired by Amanda Beachley's lo-fi theme. I really wanted something that was like Hero's room, and I thought this one would be like a good layout for it, so it was just really cool to create in general. I added a couple of posters that I made myself into it, just like little doodles, and I thought it was really fun to create. I, in the end, put a black outline over here because this is a nice separation, because obviously those two colors don't really blend well, so I needed a wall to separate those two. And then I also added a lamp with my own little addition of myself in there with post-it notes, because that week my desk was just splattered with post-it notes. These colored post-it notes were all over my desk, and I just wanted to add a little bit of myself into there, and I'm pretty sure he would have some post-it notes around in his room as well, so it was just nice to put myself into it as well. For over here, I added a little bookshelf and a little Japanese figurine or statue. I'm not sure what those are called, but I added it in there because I'm pretty sure Hiro would have a little Japanese look in his room as well. I've seen this one in his room, so I drew it out and put a habit, and then in the end I decided to put a blue background just to tie everything in together, because obviously we need something that doesn't look scattered but more just like coherent and together as a group. I had some empty space over here, so I put some washi tape, because whenever you have empty space, just put some washi tape or a sticker. It's going to work like that. So that's how it looks in this part. And the last one, I decided to go back into my August theme and do something like this while having a mixture of this spread as well. So I had those boxes, which are pretty nice. As I said, I really like the little thinness of it because my tasks aren't really long. So just having a little tiny box for everyone, it just works out really well. And I drew Tadashi's lab room in here where he created Baymax with that little circular window, which was really fun to create. It really reminds me of my Haikyuu theme, and if you would like to check that out, I'll put it over here as well, just like so you can see it. But yes, if you want to see the Haikyuu one, definitely check this link out. And it was pretty nice. I wrote October week 5 because there was so much empty space here and I did not know what to put there, and I kind of messed up on the Baymax little charging battery thing, but you know what, that aside, I think it was really fun. I also added a little quote from Tadashi over here because I have so much empty space, and overall I think the look was pretty good. It's just that I didn't have enough tasks to write down, so there was a lot of empty space here, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do to fill it up. Maybe I'll just leave it blank because I don't know, but that's basically it for all my spreads. And now I'm going to do my little end of the month look to it. So let's just get started. And here is the final look of this little quick spread. I'll obviously be writing a little bit of my month's overview here, but because it's going to be a little bit personal, I'm not going to be writing it on camera. And that's basically it. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!